comes a time in every man's life where the past, the present, the future, they all just sort of mash into one weird, sort of confusing mess. Nobody really knows what's going on. Everything just feels so wrong. And there's no really real explanation as to why. It's just none of it feels right. No matter how wonderful they used to be. No matter how meaningful everything used to be. It feels like right now, none of it matters. For whatever reason, my life has just culminated into a sea of nothingness, where I can't do anything but be disappointed in it all. And how it all boiled down, and what's left at the end. I don't know how to feel anymore about any of it. About any of this. About this life or anything. I'm here with no job, and recently no family, no car, nothing. And my dog. I'm feeling so lost. I'm feeling so sad. I'm feeling so discouraged, and I'm feeling like it's wrong to be feeling like that right now. Everybody's telling me I need to be hopeful and just keep working on it, and it'll get better, but it doesn't feel like it's ever gonna get better. No matter how many times it's started to get better, it's always ended up getting worse. And I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to feel. I don't know where my direction is, or even where it was going. I feel like I'm a leaf floating on a pond, going towards a river. And that river, nobody knows where it goes. Right now, I'm here, and I'm wishing I made different decisions. I'm wishing that my life was focused on different things. Maybe not so much on myself all the time. Maybe focused a little more on being grateful for what I have, and not constantly trying to pursue more. Maybe I should have just kept going with how I was when I was a teenager, just kept working, and I almost feel like my path of discovery and what I thought at the time was enlightenment has only shown me how little those things can matter. And your enlightenment only leads you to darkness. It's not that enlightening, is it? And your pursuits of greatness only lead you to suffering. And your life has culminated into a mass of confusion. And innegotiable, innavigable maze of horror, where every decision that you could make is a hard one. Or a difficult one to make, where every choice you make has to be a sacrifice. It feels almost comical. Like I'm in some sort of movie. The main character is just made to suffer. If I'd even be so bold as to call myself the main character of anything other than suffering and loss. Even though I'm nowhere near the person who's lost the most. It's not a contest, though. Loss is loss, and your feelings about it are the same. There's only so sad you can get. I've never been more sad. I've never been more depressed. I've never been less sure of what's going to happen next, or even of what has happened in the past. Is my perspective on any of it even accurate? I don't even know anymore. I don't know where I'm going. I know that the places I've been at the time that I was going there were wonderful. It felt like the greatest adventure that I could ever have. And when it ends, when that's not happening anymore, when you're left with nothing at the end of it. Nobody shows what that looks like. Nobody shows what that person is like. This is what that person looks like. Broken. Almost disgusting. People like to portray all sorts of lifestyles as something worth pursuing or of merit. And to that I would ask one question. What's the end? Can you see the end? If you can't see the end, it's not going to turn out well. Or it's very, very likely that it couldn't. You have to ask yourself, is it worth sacrificing everything in my life for this lifestyle, this person, this pursuit? And you have to determine for yourself. Every single one of us has to determine as individuals if that's worth it for us. And for me, I thought it was. But here at the end, I can safely say it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth a single moment of my time wasted on the pursuits that I wasted it on. Because what's the result? The result is this. A man left alone with nothing. Almost nothing. Nothing that actually matters to him. Ask yourself this question. Why would you want to be that person? Why would you want to be that person who has nothing? Nothing that matters to them. It's not like I don't have anything. What really mattered to me is now gone. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to ever get it back. Is it worth it to lose everything? Is it worth it to lose yourself for what you're passionate about in the moment? Are you willing to sacrifice your future for that? I was. And I regret it. I really do. I wish every day that I could change it. I wish every day that I could. And I know I can. But as I mentioned previously, every decision that I make from here on out is a sacrifice. I have to give up something else. Don't go down this road. It's not worth it. You'll end up just like this. And I know it sounds really cliche and obvious. And I'm not mentioning specifics for a reason. It's because this isn't a specific problem. It's a pattern of behavior that can transcend activities, social groups, all of it. The pursuit of the new. No matter what, the new experience, throwing out the old for the new every time, no matter what. Don't do it. Just because something's new and exciting doesn't mean it's good. Just because other people are doing it and they might feel or appear like they're happy, it doesn't mean that they are. They could be suffering just as much, or if not more, than I am on the inside right now. Save yourself the trouble. Just do it. Or rather, don't do it if that's what it takes. Pursue a life that you'd be proud of later, not regret. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't discover things. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't explore. But don't put that above everything else. Don't put exploration above your own safety, and especially not in front of other people's safety. Mistakes like these are ones that cost me everything important to my life. My career, my family, all my resources, all my connections, everything is gone. I might as well have set my whole life on fire. I might as well have just not done any of it. That's how little I have now. I oftentimes remember when I was a teenager, a young adult, and even a child, and all the things that I wanted to accomplish and do and see and feel and experience, and I've done most of it. And let me tell you, I didn't really have any goals. Not really. Because if I had any goals that were actually worth achieving, I wouldn't have already achieved them by now. Those aren't achievements. They're stunts. I'm learning that now in my late 20s. Like a lot of young men do. I'd say most of us learn in our 20s really what it's like to be a man. What it means to be a man. And it's not what's portrayed in media and in the world. Ultimately, to be a man and to be a human being is to suffer. That's, when it comes down to it, that's almost all of it. Various forms of suffering. What makes the suffering worth it to you? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Because for me, what made the suffering worth it was my family. Now they're gone. So it's really not feeling worth it anymore. I'm gonna have to find something else to live for. I hope that none of you have to ever do that. To find something else to live for. The way that I have. The way that I have to now. I don't know if I'm ever going to see them again. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to. I've made mistakes in my life that might have made that impossible forever. To say that I regret my decisions is an understatement. Ultimately, the reason why I'm saying any of this is so hopefully one person, just one, Maybe one who's in my position will hear this. Who was in my position 4 years ago. Don't do it. It's not worth it to cast your life away for it. You might think it is. It might seem exciting. All your friends might be doing it. And I know I might sound like your dad. But my dad was right. He warned me about all of it. He warned me because he did it all. He did it all too. And what was he left with but nothing in the end, as well as me? Having to start his life completely over at the age of 31 years old. And here I am, 28, just 3 years shy of that, starting my life all the way over again. For I don't even know how many times this is. It's been nothing but an almost constant turmoil and struggle ever since I started on this path. You can blame a million other things. You can blame the government. You can blame the universe. You can blame your fate. You can blame other people. You can blame everything. But ultimately, the truth of the matter is that nobody gets a fair shake. It's impossible to. You're never going to get that chance. Not unless you make that chance happen for yourself. That's how you win. You don't do what I did and wait for it to come and jump on the opportunity. You have to make the opportunity. You have to care about yourself and your loved ones enough to make that opportunity for yourself. Because odds are it's not going to be presented in front of you. It wasn't for me. I thought it was multiple times. I jumped at every opportunity I saw was an opportunity, and none of them panned out. It's not from lack of ability or lack of trying. It just wasn't meant to happen in the end. It just didn't work. So what do? You start from the beginning. You start from the fundamentals. Who am I? What's important to me? What do I actually care about? What if everything else went away? Would if everything else went away and you only had that thing, what would you be okay with only having? Find that. It doesn't have to be an object. In fact, I hope it's not an object. I hope it's a concept, a belief, a worldview, anything actually fundamental to you as a person. Nothing that can be taken away from you. For me, it was my family. But ultimately, that was taken away from me. And not because me or my family wanted it to happen. A lot of the times when you involve forces that are arbitrary, they make arbitrary decisions. And those decisions aren't really necessarily good for anybody. I learned that the hard way. I spent time in jail over it. I pray that you don't as well. Don't do what I did. Don't throw your life away for meaningless pursuits. Stay strong. And you men especially, keep your head. I'm not saying you can't feel things. I'm feeling so much right now, I can barely stand it. Keep your head. Don't let your feelings affect your actions in a negative way.
You have to maintain control over what you do. Because if you don't, you will lose control of your life and everything around you. Control over your life. I'm not talking the toxic, weird control. I'm talking actual control. Functional, healthy control over one's circumstances in life comes with controlling yourself first. You have to. There's no other option. No one can do it for you. Doesn't matter where you start out. If you start out with $10 million, you'll waste it all in less than a year if you don't have discipline. Or you could start out with nothing. You could build your way up from the bottom. That still happens. That dream is not dead. Although people would like to tell you that it is. That's where I'm starting right now. This is almost the very bottom. This is the lowest I've ever been. It's the bottom for me. I have to start from here. I have to start from scratch again. All over again. I've done this 3 or 4 times at this point, it feels like. Well, I feel better. A little bit, anyway. I have so much on my mind regarding this. That's pretty much it, though. At least for right now.